Impact Wrestling. Today is the finale of Slammiversary week episodes. I've done an episode every single day talking about Slammiversary, talking about matches, talking about bits and bobs about history as well. And today's the last day, man. It's the last day. It's been a fantastic week. As I've said, this is my WrestleMania week in that sense. And last night we had a good show. It was damn good. I think I said that wrong, but but it was a good show. It was a good show. I'm not going to sit here and say it was the best Slammiversary episode ever in history, because it wasn't. But it was good. I want to get to a few bits and bobs first. I mean, the things where I was generally disappointed with the show was very, very little stuff. I found the crowd very quiet and very peculiar in that sense, because the Impact crowd are normally one of the loudest crowds in professional wrestling, even in them sort of quieter spots. They're normally kicking off, going wild and stuff like that. I thought the venue was a bit peculiar as well. I was wondering if they could have got probably a bigger venue. But it is what it is. It isn't a big deal, because actually what was happening in the promos, what was happening in the mat stuff was absolutely brilliant. And do you know what I'm going to start with? I'm going to start with the countdown show. I'm going to start with the countdown show, because the countdown show, if I'm going to be really honest, was absolutely brilliant. So we started off with Shaw, Evans, Jadale versus Fret, Rush and Jessica in a six-man, six-woman, whatever you want to call it, tag team match. And it started off brilliantly. It started off with Jessica and Evans, major powerhousing. Jadale gets in, and you know what? He's a really good wrestler. I actually really love to watch him. He's creative. He kind of reminds me of Caleb with a K. And where's he gone, by the way? Because I love Caleb. Okay. And Jess gets in, and she just throws everybody away. We see Rush tag in, and then we see Team Shaw just beat the living crap out of Rush. And the match moves on quite fast. There's a great exploder by Jody. And then we see a absolutely brilliant moveset where Jadale gets a sort of like a German suplex by Jody. Then Rush spears 1, 2, 3. And you know what? I went through that match quite quickly, because that match was quick. It was fast. A lot happened in a short amount of time. And it was just a fun match. If you're going to open up a pay-per-view, okay, alright, or you're going to open up with a sort of like a pre-show, you want just to have fun, easy matches. And that's what that match was about. Jody, Rush and Jessica did absolutely brilliant. They got the win. Brilliant stuff. Absolutely brilliant stuff. And it's always good to see people like Jessica, Courtney Rush and people like Jody Fret win stuff like this, because they are important to the foundations of Impact Wrestling. Now we move on to the second match, and this second match was a peculiar one for me, because I personally think this match here was one of the best on the whole entire card. Now, me and my boy, we love Joe Hendry. We're Brits, we love Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. And also, I love Kenny King, because the man has moves. All right. And Joe's, interestingly enough, since he's been at Impact, he's been the champion for 247 days. He has had 15 title matches, and he won all of the title matches. Kenny King is a Chippendale. He's a stripper. All right. But this match went very quickly. It started off pretty much with a stalling suplex by Joe Hendry. And Joe Hendry's absolutely brilliant at doing stalling suplex. He was up there for a fair old while. And it kind of looked like Joe was just going to flatten him very quickly. And there was some interesting moments with Gene where Gene was putting Joe off. And then Kenny would gain control. And there was a great moment that I absolutely loved, where Kenny basically got a Chippendale tie off Gene. And basically, like it was going to be brass knuckles or something along the lines of that. A Chippendale tie that he got. And he puts him around Joe's head, chokes Joe out. There's a great moment as well in this match where there's a beautiful, fantastic T-bone suplex. Joe also powers out of a fantastic chokehold as well. And that was quite impressive. It was one of the matches where well, you didn't kind of at this point know what was going to happen. So you kind of seen that in some of the other Joe's matches where he starts great. In the middle, he's a bit pants, and at the end, he's sort of like he sort of powers through, and that's kind of where I thought it was going, but it didn't go like this. After all these great movesets, these great combos, okay, that was happening. It was a simple roll up with Kenny's feet on the ropes, and Gene held Kenny's feet so he couldn't move. 1, 2, 3. Joe lost the match. He also lost the digital media title, and it was a cheat to win match. Don't worry about it. We all love a good cheat to win match when it comes down to it. And it was a strong countdown show. I've said this, I think it was Under Siege. Under Siege where Courtney Rush and Jessica and versus the Coven. And that was the best match on Under Siege's card. That countdown show. And the thing about it is, it's really interesting because I always go to people, these kind of dark matches, countdown matches, pre-show matches, they are always worth watching because they're always diamonds, they're always something interesting, because what you're seeing is you're seeing a bunch of wrestlers that fundamentally think they should be on the pay-per-view, okay, and they should have been, all of them, if I'm going to be dead honest, and they're trying to make a statement, and both these matches did. The 6-man, the 6-woman, whatever, was a solid match. It was super fun. Anything with Jodie Fret, Courtney Rush and Jessica's going to be great. Shaw and Evans are jail, and so but the special one was Kenny King versus Joe Hendry. So get on YouTube, man. It's totally free. Get on Fight TV. It's totally free to watch. But it's worth watching. It is worth watching. But we have a new digital media champion. All right, we had, I believe, is it 7 championships or whatever it was, or 7 contender match. I can't remember what it was, but we had a load of matches that were title or title leading matches, and this was the first one. The Digital Media Championship, I say this constantly to absolutely everybody, is my favourite title. I think it's the most attractive title in professional wrestling. And we have a new champion, being Kenny King. Now, as I said to you, it's sort of like you're going to open up a show, you're going to have to open it up big. And so Slammiversary tends to do that very well. Impact tends to do that very well. And we went big, and it was really big. So we saw an Ultimate X match. And to open up, if you don't know what Ultimate X is, it's very, very simple. It's no counts, no disqualification. No pins, basically. What you've got to do is you've got to climb up a piece of scaffolding at the side, pull yourself across to the middle, pick up the X, alright? And it could be a belt sometimes, but if it's the X, it tends to be for a title opportunity. And it will be the X Division title opportunity. Now, great match. So we had Kushida, absolute legend of the game, absolute talent of the game, absolute beast of the game. We had Jonathan Gresham, one of the best ground and pound guys in the business. We had Speedball Bailey, again, one of the best sort of like technical wrestlers along with Gresham. We had Knight, one of the biggest vertical jumps in wrestling. I think he has it bigger than the lads in, what do they call them? The lads in the Street Profits over in WWE. And then we had a guest appearance. We had a guest appearance being Jake something. And the interesting thing about this match, all in all, okay, there's only one person that had experience in Ultimate X, and that was Bailey. And it was about a year ago when Bailey won the X Division title. Now, this match started off rough and tough, just how I like it. Everybody rushed in. Everybody went straight for the X, okay? No one got the X that was hanging above their heads. Jake something basically beat the living shite out of everybody for about 10 minutes. And it became a kind of interesting thing because we saw people split offs in their tags. Kushida and Knight, they're a tag team in general. Gresham and Bailey, they've been working together as a tag team. And we saw everybody split off very, very quickly. We saw Jake something be solo. We saw Alan Angels be total solo as well. Sorry, I didn't mention Alan Angels. Alan Angels was in that match. He was my call to win this match. Just want to point this out. And there's a good little bit of context to this, actually. All right. And everybody was fighting in their teams. And we saw that. We see that all the time. We see that in Royal Rumbles. We see that sort of like Casino Royales, or whatever they're called over in AEW. We see that in sort of like Ultimate X over in Impact. Bailey does this insane moonsault off the flipping top of the scaffolding that was holding the Ultimate X stuff together. And do you know what? The most interesting thing about this match is the star of this whole entire match was Alan Bloody Angels, and he was my call. I saw his promo in the week, and I was fairly convinced he was going to win the whole entire thing, because he's one of them guys. I keep saying this to people. I remember watching him in AEW with the Dark Order, and me and John, my wee lad, that he was on a podcast yesterday with me, we always used to say that, how come can Adam Angels do a bit more? Can he win a bit more? Can he do a bit more? Blah, blah, blah. And we used to always go about that. And he was released from his contract a little while ago. He came over to Impact, joined the design, and now he's sort of like this free spirit. He sees himself as a celestial, basically higher than an angel. I don't know, sort of like, maybe, I don't know, it could be, all right? And he was actually the most important guy of this whole entire match. All right. There was a moment where Alan Angels basically flipping low blows through people. He does this incredible reverse Harana. All right, and he takes down Gresham and Bailey. But the fun thing about this, when it comes down to it, Alan Angels had such a major part in it. He didn't win it, and I was gutted. My heart literally broke that he didn't win this, because I really wanted this for him. But I am going to say this, he will be an X Division champion. I'm fairly convinced this is leading to a bigger story, okay? And this match, again, I will say this honestly, wasn't the best Ultimate X match ever or anything like that. I'm not going to say it is, okay? But it was a good, solid start. And it was Kushida that won that match, all right? This dude here, and he's had a good little run, okay, in Impact and work with Impact in that sense, and it was worth the watch. It was worth the wait. The highlight of this whole entire match was Alan Angels. Alan Angels is the man. Alan Angels, for me, he was my choice for my predictions to win this match. Didn't win it, was gutted. I was really gutted, but Kushida will get an opportunity against whoever the X Division champion is, and we will talk about that later. Now, this was the fun bit. So I put a post out on Twitter asking who could be Team Canada's or Scott D'Amore's tag team partner, and who is in the crowd? A1, one of the OG Team Canada guys. Just want to throw this out because there's a bit of context to this, because this is important. As you'll see in my background today, it's Team Canada D'Amore. Again, we'll talk about that in a little while. But this next match was a highly anticipated match for me personally, right? And the reason why it was highly anticipated was for this reason. I have another podcast from my boy Josh. Call out to Josh. He was watching AEW Collision last night while I was watching this, so we'll bantering across Twitter. I must have been, back in April, said Masha Slamovich and Killer Kelly will be a tag team, and they will be tag team champions. Just off, I guess, of interactions over the months and the months and the months that's happened, okay? And just because of their look, I think they work really well together as well. And this was the match I was looking forward to, because the Coven, I love the Coven. I'm a fan of the Coven, okay? This is the thing. The Coven are a solid tag team. They work really, really, really well together, and they are powerful, and they do their business. And look, Taylor Wilde, 2009, was the original Knockout Tag Team Champion. Do you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, with Selena, she was an original Tag Team Champion. So she is well deserved. She's a vet in the game. She's a top class wrestler. And Kylon King is a legit beast. And Kylon King, yeah, she does follow a lot of the elements of what Taylor does and saves Taylor, but they are legit animals in their own right. And the Coven, as a tag team, works. And I love to see what I call real tag teams. We don't often get them, all right? And within Impact Wrestling, with female wrestling in particular, okay, the tag teams that come to my mind straight away are The Inspiration. Congratulations, they've both had babies or having a baby currently. The Beautiful People and the Blossom Twins. These are real tag teams in the sense that they are developed tag teams in this sense, and this is what I saw the Coven as. Not just joined together, but Masha Slamovich and Killer Kelly have the ability to do so. So it starts early. Masha and Killer go straight in, and they take a beautiful control in a concept of chaos. All right, and there is 4 very, very early pins. Okay, and it kind of felt like Masha and Killer, they took a lot of their energies to get this very straight. Okay, they missed all of them, of course. I believe one of the pins was actually the Covens. They missed all of them, of course, but after that point, we see the Coven take total control, and we see this great combo moveset, and we see very, 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 very close pins. We see veteran moves by Taylor in a lot of ways. She does a gorgeous blind tag, where I'm not even going to lie, I wasn't even sure if it was a tag, but it clearly was a tag, where she comes in and she does this incredible sort of like joint element of King's holding whoever the wrestler was in at the time, can't remember, and then basically Taylor double knees her, and it's little moves like that make everything. And this was it was on Killer, this, alright. And then we see Masha come in, and Masha comes in and she moves at 1,000 miles an hour at every pace she does. It's like when you call your kid when you call your kid a ball in a china shop, this is how Masha works. She is one of the fastest balls in a china shop. Comes in, bang, 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 punch, 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 kick, 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 boom, 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 do. She does that, and she does the business by doing that. And the reason why it works is because it is so fast. But that can only, cardio reasons, it only lasts for so long. We see the Coven take back control. We see a double knee into a suplex. And this is where it gets fun, okay? We see Killer Kelly into the buckle do a absolutely fantastic butterfly suplex, okay? It was just pretty. You'll notice about me when I see a suplex and I see the different sort of like concepts of how a suplex is, I'm always attracted to it straight away. And a little while later, we see something very interesting. We see The Witch's Wrath by Taylor, and we see Masha jump, and that's never ever happened. I want to throw into this as well. The Coven have never beaten Killer or Masha in singles competition, and this is where it becomes an interesting concept, because Masha and Slamovich break down the Coven all the way through the match. Okay, everything is planned, everything works out perfectly for them. And we see towards the end, Masha's does the big snowplow, and we have new tag team world champions. This, for me, was one of the greatest moments, okay, of my year, because I didn't know it was going to happen at Slammiversary. I thought it probably would have happened at one of the smaller pay-per-views later on in the year, but it happened. It happened. 2 of the best single competitors in professional wrestling. I'm surprised AEW, I'm surprised people like that haven't jumped at these 2, because they are so fucking talented, have now beaten a legit tag team. And they beat them, okay, tactically, alright, and at times extremely convincingly. But listen to me now, the Coven will come back and they'll kick ass eventually. Taylor Wilde and Kylon King are 2 of the best, and they are a legit, not a mash-up, they are a legit tag team. But great match. Controlled Chaos won that match, and it was pure beauty. Now this, I'm going to say this, and people might hate this. Match of the night. And I'm not going to lie about this. It was nothing to do with technical ability. It was nothing to do with crowd compensation or whatever the word is. It was nothing to do with anything but solid context, solid narrative, solid storyline. Now, we all know on Busted Open Radio this week, Dina and Bully joined forces. Okay, they became a tag team to face Scott D'Amore and whoever. Okay, and there was loads of calls who it could be, and I'm going to say that I was 50% right because it makes sense. Okay, but it ended up being Eric Young. Eric Young. Eric fucking Young. Sorry for my French, people, but Eric Young. Everybody was convinced he was contracted to WWE still, but he wasn't, obviously, because he was there. D'Amore comes out in his gorgeous, fantastic robe. I can't remember actually what it was, but I think the robe is from something that happened in 2004 against Dustin Rhodes or Dusty Rhodes, I can't remember. But that was the case. And Young came out with a face like he wanted to kill the person that killed him, being Dina. Now Dina gets in, he tags extremely quickly. There's a lot of movement here, alright? So I'm going to move this quickly, and the best bit is at the end. So there is a lot of movement, okay? We see Bully and Young have a little scrap. Scott wants Bully. Dina wants in. We see a beautiful sweeping leg lay into a leg drop. Okay, the death drop to Dina was absolutely great by Young and Scott. Bully gets in face to face with Scott. Bully starts beating the living shit out of him. Scott wants absolute more, and this is why D'Amore, mate. D'Amore is up there, higher echelon. He gets how to tell the story. He's like, go and smack me, mate. Do more. Do you know what I mean? He's like somebody from fucking Football Factory, where he wants to be battered the living shite out of. Okay, Bully gets into the ref's face. The referee rips off his top and says, I ain't doing this anymore. And now the enforcer McCarthy, alright, comes in, puts the ref's top on. Okay, McCarthy's, I believe he was at Detroit Red Wings ice hockey. And he comes in, he puts on the ref's top. Bully gets a wee bit cheat. Bully gets he gets a bit cocky. He gets a bit cocky at this point. And we see Young do a power driver, okay? And we see Kong walk in. He comes in dead aggressively. Alright. Boom. Aggressively. Wanting to take down Team Canada. Wanting to beat the shit out of him. Kong's massive, mate. He's one of the Zion. He's a big old chap. I think, was he in the Awakening? People can tell me if I'm wrong. It might have been, he might not have been. Okay. But guess who walks in? Guess who comes in? My boy, A1, comes in. Clothesline over to the top ropes. And this is where it starts moving. We see D'Amore doing a flying headbutt into Bully Ray's balls. And guess what? Team Canada, get the tables! The table came out, alright? Bully on the table. Young, okay, Bully goes to the table. Young gets to the top of the rope, does a flying elbow drop, and Dina, 1, 2, 3, Team Canada win the fucking match. And do you know what that match was about? That match wasn't about technical ability or great moveset or wrist lock, arm lock, bone locks, whatever. That match was about good storytelling. Good storytelling, man. And that is why I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this out loud. Out of all the incredible matches that happened, and the good ones, okay, this match, for the sake of storytelling, was the best. We saw 3 members of Team Canada. Okay, we saw a referee walk out. We see McCarthy take up the referee's position. We see Bully Ray, get put through a table, get headbutted in the balls. We see Dina getting an elbow drop. All right, and the thing about it is, it was a conclusion to a story. And this is the thing. Bully's been put in his place. All right, I'm hoping we see more from Scott D'Amore. To be fair, wrestling and in the ring, Team Canada. I'm hoping Team Canada comes back, in all fairness. Okay, all right. But we saw Eric Young come back and basically right the wrong. All right, and Young was awesome. Young is always awesome. He's been consistently awesome his whole entire career. So that, for me, that was my match of the night. And mate, people can agree, people can disagree. Okay. But that is what it is. Now this next match is it's a bit peculiar. It's a bit peculiar what happened. So we had our X division sort of like decider contender match with the Ultimate X, and this next match I was hoping a lot more from. But what the fuck? Oh my god! I've just looked at my notes. This is what I put. What the fuck? And oh my god! What happened? Okay. So Rush comes out in his cocky little self. Chris Sabin barely gets out. Rush comes in, attacks him. He smashed his head off the floor. Okay, and Rush does it again, re-jumps him. Okay, Sabian is holding his head. Doctor wants to pull out Sabian, and this is all in about 3-4 minutes shortly. Wants to pull out Sabian. The ref is like, look, man, I'm going to let him enter. Okay, Rush goes in the ring. All right, fast again. Sabian is not getting up after a couple of kicks. We see a couple of Rush's version of a frog splash. We see Sabian jump once, doesn't jump again. Man's dead. Man's dead. End of the Motor City Machine Gun era. Okay, at this point for Chris Sabian, and I'm gobsmacked. I'm literally gobsmacked at this match because I'm not gonna lie. I thought Chris Sabian was gonna walk out with that belt. I didn't think they were gonna give it to fucking Leo Rush. I love Leo Rush, world class talent. There's no debate about that. Don't argue about that. He is okay, but he's flighty as hell, man. He's flighty as hell. And he is the new X Division champion. I don't know what that is. If in the real world, is Sabian a little bit injured? Is Sabian retiring? Is Sabian hurt? I don't know. But Leo Rush is our new X Division champion. And at this point, we've got a new digital media champion. We've got a new women's tag team champion. We have got a new X Division champion. So we've got 3 new champions at this point. Do you know what, that for me was a bit of an oh my god moment, because now we've got Leo Rush, and I like Leo Rush, man. I like him. I liked him whatever promotion he was in. Okay, all right. But this basically, it was just super interesting. I'm more interested in what's wrong with Sabian. But this is the one. This is the one I was looking forward to. And do you know what? I was the most disappointed with it, but I fundamentally liked the result when it came down to it. Okay, so we had Moose and Myers. And everybody here knows how much I love both these wrestlers. I didn't realise how big they were compared to a lot of other competitors. All right, you watch them, and because they tend to wrestle big wrestlers, they don't look big. All right, but they compared to these guys, they were big. We had Sammy and Rick Swan, which they were average sized guys. The ABC being Bay and Ace. We had Subculture, Andrews, and Webster. And yeah, it was an okay match, but I wanted more from it, and I'm not going to lie about this. I wanted more from it. I think with the ability of every person in that ring, there could have been more. I think, yeah, I don't know what else to say about this, but it started off with Chris Bays and Andrews, and it was a very quick start, but both of them are very fast wrestlers. And eventually Ace comes in. There was a decent little tag. Webster tags out. Sammy does a really nice shoulder breaker. Myers does a really nice set of knees. There was a failed Death Valley driver by Sammy, and a cactus driver as well. Moose hit his Slumdog. There was a great senton by Webster. Very, very close again. But this is the moment where I think actually I became interested in the match, and it was very interesting because I'm going to go. My boy Wentz and my boy Trey are going to be going for these tag team titles very, very soon. Wentz and Trey came in, did their business. Trey got hit by somebody. Subculture end up making a pin after a nice little move set, being, I believe it was a shooting star and a pinball wizard. That's after a Who song. That's quite good. And we've got Subculture being the new champions. And I don't mind this. I don't hate the result. I just didn't think the match was great. Okay, all right. I think Subculture are one of them tag teams. Their development in NXT and the UK scene, I believe they're the Road Pro Culture champions as well, was brilliant. Okay, and they Under Siege had some good stuff as well. I think all in all, this match could have been a lot better, but it was what it was. Okay, and it is what it is. Okay, and I think the moments that mattered, such as when the Rascals came in and did what they did to get their development, to get a tag team opportunity, because as we all know, the Rascals were denied that opportunity in the week. And I'm hoping Subculture don't become subused and we don't get to see the tag team titles in Impact Weekly, or at least every other week or whatever, because I know they do it in tapings, don't they? But yeah, the match all in all was I was expecting more, but it was what it was. It is what it is. The Rascals did what they did, and we have new champions being Subculture, which I am, as a Brit, happy about. Okay, and I'm especially happy Subculture definitely performed the best in the ring through the whole entire match. And after that promo midweek, which I'm not even going to lie, I said on my review show was awful, which was awful. I'm glad that they got back in the ring. Like I said, their ring ability is far better and kicked some ass and did what they did. But it was a good match. It was. How do I say it? I'm trying to be. I don't like being negative about the product that I have a passion for, but it was underwhelming. That's what it was. It was okay, and I kind of feel like a pay-per-view should be special. And at this point, we had the Ultimate match was special. The Digital Media match was special. The Team Canada match was storyline based special. We walk into Leo Rush versus Sabian, and it was a nothing sort of match in a lot of ways. But I think Sabian must be injured or something must be happening there. And then we have this tag team match that is bang on average. And then we move on to Frankie versus Eddie. Okay, so interestingly enough, something I learned that Killer Kowalski, the place that they specifically were in Canada, was his birthplace. So that was a fun little sort of like a fun little thing. This match was good, actually. This match was good. All right, and I think people are probably going to watch it and disagree with me in a lot of ways because the match felt very long because there was a lot of gaps between it. Okay, but whenever you get Frankie Kazarian and Eddie Edwards in a ring, you are going to get either whoever they're with is going to be good because they both have this insane ability to be a top talent. So it starts off basically with Frankie going in there with a side takeover. And what he does is he directly tries to slow down the match and puts him in a headlock onto the floor. That's not Eddie's style. Okay, that's not Eddie's style. So Eddie breaks out of this quite quickly. And then we see them doing sort of like a rope run. Eddie's misses basically grabs his feet. All right, and eventually what we see is a backstabber come out of this. Okay, and Frankie gains control again for a fair old while, and then basically we see Frankie get outside the ring. We see a major chop fest. We see major locks. We see this absolutely amazing suplex into a major hurricanrana, which was brilliant by Kazarian. And at this point is Edwards gets the back raked, rakes Frankie's back, and we see Tracy and Alyssa face to face at this point. And basically, what happens at this point? A Boston knee party happens, and a stunner, and there's a big superplex into the ring, a cutter by Kaz. We see Tracy Brooks and Alyssa go face to face again. All right, and we see Kaz go for a Boston knee party. We see Frankie go for a chicken wing. All right, and how the match ends was disappointing, but it was okay. We see a kendo stick, knee party, 1, 2, 3. Eddie Edwards wins. Okay, but it was a good match. I liked it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's probably forgettable in a lot of ways, but it was a good match. Very, very enjoyed. And as we move on to our 2 co-main events, and they were co-main events when it comes down to it. Now, I'm going to be dead honest, and I'm going to crack through this as quick as possible because I normally have a rule 30 minutes, and I've gone over that rule twice this week. So look, Deonna versus Trinity, 3-time WWE champion, okay? 3-time Impact champion. Both of them have the ability to be great. I hold the viewpoint Deonna Purrazzo is the #1 greatest wrestler currently in professional wrestling. All right. I also hold the viewpoint Trinity for 2 is also up there in that top 5. Trinity comes in first. All right. It's nearly been 2 years since she has had a title opportunity. Both women are working each other out in the first half of the match. We see a great armbar attempt very quickly by Deonna. Okay. And Basically, Trinity rolls out of it, and Deonna's like that close. Okay, we see An attempt for a star strike doesn't happen. Trinity hits an amazing crossbody well in the air. And this is one of the things she has. She can jump so high in the air. Boom. Okay. Deonna then starts doing her typical thing, which this is why she's good at wrestling. This is why she's an amazing wrestler. I mean, I'm a massive Doug Williams fan, and he has this concept where he'll work your body to hell through the whole entire match till you die. Okay, all right. And Deonna started doing that. Wrist locks, wrist kicks, basically working bits of her body, trying to break her down. Deonna hits a very nice suplex, pins. Okay, does nothing big happens, right, in this sense. She does a fouled gambit. And then Trinity kicks out of the gambit. Sorry, it wasn't fouled. It was Trinity kicks out the gambit. And this is where stuff gets interesting. Where Deonna was just missing out on absolutely everything. Trinity at this point was gaining momentum again. And her momentum, okay, was building her as a wrestler, as a talent. All right, and Deonna got put into the Starstruck. Deonna's never tapped in her whole entire career, and she taps, and we have a new Knockouts champion. When there's a whole episode in Don't Call Your Diva about how excited I was about when Trinity signed, because I think Trinity is the Kurt Angle. All right, Trinity is the Kurt Angle, and we are seeing that now. I'm smiling because I'm buzzed. This match was a absolutely fantastic match. This match was a match that changed the course of what's going to happen from next Thursday. We now have a new women's champion, and I hope Trinity is dominant as hell. Now we finish off this with this match. Now this match is one of the matches I knew Shelley was going to win it. And I'll tell you now, Shelley did win this. And the reason why he won this is because he's an evil bastard. Okay, I said a little while ago, with Motor City Machine Guns, you have Sapien that's the nicer machine gun, and you have Shelley that's a hothead that wants to beat the living shit out of you. Now, Aldis comes in. Okay, alright. He's doing a lot of talking. He loves a good old chat. He's in his face, so blah, 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 blah. Alright, in his posh little King's Lynn accent, and I can't talk because I come from down the road from him. So Shelley spits water in his face, and at this point we see Aldis like lose his shit. He goes in with a clover leaf. Shelley makes it to the ropes, and at this point I fundamentally thought there was no chance Aldis was going to win this match, and the reason why, because the clover leaf is the best what Aldis can offer apart from his big elbow. All right. And there's a moment where sort of like Shelley gets the ropes, Aldis picks him up, lobs him into the turnbuckle. Shelley does this great drop kick to Aldis's knees, okay, and then he's working it constantly. He's at this point, his perspective is to simply work the body to the point, okay, of where he can't exist, where he has to fail, where he is going to fail, not Shelley. So he does that. He hits a nice bunch of dragon screws, and I love a good dragon screw. Shelley keeps working the legs. Aldis is limping about, and yeah, they're outside of the ring at this point, and Aldis does some work outside of the ring, but that's pretty much all Aldis does here. We see Shelley basically put Aldis's fingers in the turnbuckle, works the turnbuckles. His fingers in the turnbuckle, right? And that at that point, it was like, oh my fucking god, this man means business. Sorry for the swearing, but that's all I can describe it in that sense. It was horrible. Shelley is aiming to break every part of Aldis's body down. At this point, Aldis does hit another clothesline. As I said, Aldis at this point is lost in my perspective. I will tell you this, it was great. The momentum was great, but he was not going to be winning this match. Shelley does this great suplex, and he does a sort of like he does a sliced bread, but that failed. A power driver pin. Aldis gets the elbow drop. And then there's a work here. So Aldis gets the belt. Shelley gets the belt. At this point, that's sort of what happens. Shelley gets the nice big DDT onto the belt, moves into the shell shock. Shelley wins the match. Shelley wins the match. Absolutely brilliant match. Okay, absolutely brilliant match. And that was the whole pay-per-view. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was a very up and down pay-per-view. I mean, I will hold the viewpoint that Digital Medium Champion match was great. The Coming match was great. The Leo match thing was a bit meh. I'd like to know a bit more information on what's happening at that point. What happened after that? Oh yeah, the Ultimate X, brilliant match. Okay. Scott D'Amore storyline telling, brilliant match. Trinity versus Deonna, brilliant match. This match, absolutely brilliant match. And do you know what? At the end of the day, I wasn't disappointed. It was up and down. Not everything can be perfect. Not everything's going to be great. Okay, all right. We saw all the belts via one change hands. Okay, and it was definitely worth staying up for. Okay. It was definitely worth staying up for. And you know what? Slammiversary for me is my WrestleMania. It's the exciting time period of wrestling for me. I have been so buzzed this week. I've been so buzzed at every single moment this week in professional wrestling when it comes from Impact. Okay? And you know what? It's a solid 3.54 as a pay-per-view. All right? It's definitely worth the money, end of the day. Right, I'm going to let you all go. I'm going to let you all know what I'm doing for the rest of the week. So I have currently at the minute gone down to 3 days a week. About not been sacked or anything like that. Through decision for mental health reasons, for looking after kids reasons, and also because I'm trying to push this podcast quite a lot. So there's 3 reasons why. So I will be doing more shows. That is the plan. I am going to be in Skullsy Impact, Skullsy Talks Impact Wrestling. Okay, the review show will come out every Friday morning. I am going to be doing a moment in history every single week. So I could be talking about Team Canada, British Invasion. I could be talking about the Asylum years. I could be talking about Kurt Angle, whatever. That is going to come out at some point in the week as well. I haven't made up my mind when, but I will in the next couple of days. I need some sleep. Also, my wee lad John wants to do a little show with me as well. So I think we're probably going to be reviewing his favourite wrestler currently in Impact on a weekly basis. We're going to talk about Joe Hendry. Okay, but yeah, I'm Skullsy Talks. This was SummerSlam week, and darn, and damn, it was good. And darn, it was good. It was real good.